Greetings from Kuchu Times. We hope you've had a productive week. This is the weekly news roundup read to you by Kasha Jacqueline. First, the headlines. Cameroonian lesbian denied asylum in Spain. African pastors team up with veteran nations to fight homophobia. Xenophobic attacks in South Africa shock world, leave several dead. Iranian cleric causes uproar in the community world over with new theory on what causes homosexuality. And now the news in details. Cameroonian lesbian denied asylum in Spain. 28-year-old Cristela Nangon faces possible deportation from Spain after authorities denied her asylum. Ms. Nangno, who arrived on 25th March after using someone else's identification and travel documents, was refused access to Spain because authorities claimed her story was not believable. Like many homosexual asylum seekers, Nangno claims she fled her hometown of Yaoundé after police raided her home on the basis of her sexuality. She further retorted that she had managed to keep her sexuality a secret but had to leave Cameroon after the raid since her life had now been endangered. Her lawyer, Edouard Gomez, has appealed to the European Human Rights Court to step in and block Nangno deportation. Her case will be next heard on the 17th of April when a final verdict will be made. African pastors team up with Western nations to fight homophobia. A group of African American pastors under their umbrella organization, the Fellowship Group, have partnered with African religious leaders in a campaign aimed at ending homophobia. The drive will focus on Kenya, Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, and Democratic Republic of Congo, countries that have become infamous for being extremely homophobic. The group, led by Bishop Reverend Dr. Yvette and Bishop Joseph Tolton, affirms that their main mission is to advocate for inclusion, economic justice, and the reconciliation of all people of African descent globally, irrespective of their sexual orientation or gender identity. This is the first time African religious leaders are converging to publicly decry homophobia. Our own ally, retired Reverend Bishop Christopher Senyonjo, is part of the team. Xenophobic attacks in South Africa shock world, leave several dead. Barely 2 decades after wiping out apartheid, is South Africa now engrossed in xenophobic violence that has left over 5 people dead. The anti-foreigner violence in the busy port city of Durban is reminiscent of the attacks that took place in Johannesburg in 2008, leaving about 60 people dead. Angry locals have attacked foreigners living in Durban, claiming they are the root cause of all social and economic troubles in the country. The locals are now demanding for all foreigners to leave the country to create more employment opportunities for South African nations. It has been reported that most foreigners living within and around Durban have fled their homes and are now living in the temporary camps that have been set up by the non-government organizations. Comments allegedly by Zulu King Godwill Zelithini, who was reported to have said that immigrants should pack their bags and leave, have been cited as the cause of these attacks. However, the king has distanced himself from the ongoing violence and says his remarks were taken out of context. Iranian cleric causes uproar in the community world over with new theory on what causes homosexuality. Over the years, there have been numerous theories about what causes homosexuality, but the latest from an Iranian cleric is the most bizarre the world has ever had. Ayatollah Hussein Denavi claims that if a father fantasizes about other women during intercourse, the child conceived is most likely to become homosexual. Denavi's theory has caused uproar within the community as it seems to be challenging nature. Previously, one of the most revered theories was by Frederick Whitman in 1978 when he claimed that homosexuality was biologically derived. He noted that although all people in all societies, with rare exceptions, are socialized to be heterosexual, the predictable universal appearance of homosexual persons, despite socialization into heterosexual patterns of behavior, suggests not only that homosexual orientation is biologically based, but that sexual orientation itself is also biologically derived. Denavi is a television presenter who is famous for this show on family, sex, and childbearing. Thank you for listening to us. We hope to see you next week. Have a great week ahead. I remain Kasha Jacqueline on behalf of Kuchu Times. Thank you.